Welcome back to the No Business Soccer Podcast. We are back from the international break. We get a full slate of games around Europe. It's finally fall and things are rolling. I'm excited, so let's dig in. Yes. Welcome back. I'm your host, Snooze, and unfortunately, my main hype man, Vic, my right-hand man, I'll say, is still hanging out in Japan, getting crazy over there. But we do have Danny P on the ones and twos, J-Fam, the Brainiac, of course, in the back, and we have a whole slate of games to cover. Not too much that went on in this international break. Of course, we have a lot of going on as far as World Cup qualifiers, but I'm talking about signings, things that we cover as far as the club competitions go. Pretty even keel, as they say. I don't have any whiskey to do anything and no cheersing, but what I will say is if you like us, please drop us a like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot, gets us on the map. And, you know, we're doing the Lord's work here. So we want to make sure that we're getting it to the most people we can. And with that said, we're not going to waste any more time. We're jumping into this weekend's action, and we'll start off in Italy. Let's go to Serie A. And if you're new here to the No Business Soccer Podcast, you might not know the structure. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down every game on the Serie A slate for Matchday 3. And then at the end, we're going to talk about the top matches and headlines to watch because you might not have time to watch them all. So let's go right into it. Let's start on Saturday. And we have Cagliari versus Parma. Both teams come in searching for their first win of the season. The stats show a pretty even match between these sides, which means this will probably end up in a draw. Juve versus Inter. It's a big-on-big matchup, and Juve has all the momentum coming in after winning their first two matches, while Inter were upset last time out by Udinese. The good thing for Inter is that loss will be long gone from their minds after the international break. You know, everybody kind of gets to reset and recharge. With Napoli humming along, though, prior to the break, both Juve and Inter need to go for the win and to keep pace. I'm ready for this one, though. I feel like Juve have a lot more of the, I said momentum earlier, and I'll kind of stick to that. But, man, this one's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. Fiorentina versus Napoli. Speaking of Napoli, there's nothing in their early season form that says they'll slip up here against our inconsistent Fiorentina. The Viola need Moiskin to get going if they are going to get anything from this match, because McTominay and KDB and the rest of Conte's boys are coming for them. And even though this match is in Florence, I think Napoli are just too damn good to drop a point here. And that's unfortunate because, you know, we're kind of partial to our Viola, our Fiorentina on the No Business Soccer Podcast. And then that leaves us into Sunday, and that is Roma versus Torino. It's 2 wins and 2 for Gasperini and Roma, and now they get a home date with the Torino side, who are yet to score in the Serie A. Roma should be able to get this one done fairly straightforward, fairly easily, but, you know, we'll see. Never turns out the way that we think, huh? Atalanta versus Lecce. The AT aliens have drawn against Pisa and Parma, which are 2 teams they should be beating. And Lecce are up next. Lecce, the milkmen, as we call them here, have been bad in the first 2 matches, failing to score a goal. If Atalanta can't win here, I will be worried. But we'll play that game once we see what happens. Pisa and Udinese. Udinese were unlucky not to come away with the win against Verona, and then they went to the San Siro and beat Inter in Matchday 2. Pisa are still figuring out life in Serie A, and Udinese should be able to get the W here. Sassuolo, and if you are Italian or you just like this team, please tell me how to pronounce it phonetically, because I've been trying to figure it out. Is it Sassuolo? I'm not sure. But Sassuolo versus Lazio. 2 losses to start the Serie A campaign for Sassuolo isn't a good look, and now it's our Lazio, who are still trying to stack up wins after losing to Como on Matchday 1. A 4-0 over Verona last time out was good, but we want more. We want to see if they can get it done against a newly promoted team. Milan versus Bologna. The people's main event is what they're calling this. And on the weekend, we see Bologna travel to Milan. Milan have the better squad, but Bologna have looked good. The loss to Roma on the road to match day one, or they did lose that match on match day one, but they could have easily drawn or won with a little bit more luck. If you recall that match, they had a lot of set pieces. They just couldn't take them, and they were hitting them. Oh, man, it was very close. It was very close. I like Bologna in this one, though. I'm excited to sit back and see it play out. But, Milan aren't going to go down easy. And obviously we have a lot of eyes on that here in the States with Christian Pulisic being over there. But it just feels like this one's there for Bologna to win. I don't see them losing, maybe a draw. But I said something about a team. I think it was Real Madrid. Like, oh, there's no way. Oh, no, it was Atletico Madrid. They're going to for sure win this match. And then I was wrong and I got called out. So, I don't know if I'm going to be taking hot takes here. But I do think that Bologna can get this one done. On Monday, Cremonese versus Verona. Cremonese have just been a lot of fun to watch this season. I've never watched a game. I don't watch the second division in Italy. Maybe there are some people out there that have, and they knew, and I'm sorry. I was mistaken. I just didn't know their game. But their 2 match days, they look good, and they get a Verona side who, with all due respect, I feel like they should be beating. Verona aren't a bad team. They're just there making up the lower to mid-table in Serie A. They're not a team that's going to be relegated more than likely. I'm just not sure that Cremonese are the real deal yet. So if they are the real deal, then a win here will be helping, or should help us solidify our thoughts around them. And I'm excited because they haven't just gone out there and got points. They've actually looked good out there doing it. And then our final match day of the match day 3 in Serie A is Como versus Genoa. Genoa have been disappointing to start the season with only 1 point from 2 matches and no goals scored. Como, on the other hand, they'll feel like they should have come away with at least a point against Bologna, but it wasn't meant to be. Now on Monday Night Football, they have a chance to bounce back in a big way against a beatable Genoa side. It's always fun to watch Como in prime time, especially with that boy Nico Paz staying for the long term, it seems like, or at least for one more year before Real Madrid gets him back for like, what, 6 million, something like that. That's insane. Okay. Now, like I said at the top, before we jump out of here, I don't think anybody has a full time to watch all these matches. So if you don't have time to watch all the matches in Serie A, here they are, your top matches and headlines for Serie A Match Day 3. Number 1 is Juve versus Inter. There's no such thing as a must-win matchup in early September, but with Inter losing in match day 2, they need a win bad, and that won't get easier with an away trip to play Juve, who started off 2-0. This will be a fun one. Number 2 is Milan versus Bologna. Coming into this match, Bologna feel like the team that is more battle-tested and ready to go after facing Roma and Como, while Milan are still trying to find their feet. Both teams have a loss on their record, but they won't want another one early this year. Number 3, can Cremonese keep it up? Cremonese are easily the surprise of the first 2 Serie A match days, and the question is, how long can they keep this up? Beating Milan and Sassuolo is great. Now we ask how they will do against Verona side when they are no longer a big underdog. And number 4, can Como bounce back? After a match day 1 masterclass against Lazio, they disappointed against Bologna in match day 2. Genoa are a decent side, but still haven't found the first win. So Como need to get all 3 points here to get back on track. And that is your top matches and headlines for Serie A match day 3. I am very excited to see a couple of these things play out. I know that it seems like Bologna got shafted to start the season because they've had to start off Como, Milan, and then Roma. Like that is a tough 3-pack of games. But if they come away with 6 points here, I mean, heck, even 4. That's really good start. Whenever you've already knocked off 3 of the top teams in Serie A, that'd be really cool to see. So, with that said, if you think there are other matches that should have been there or something that we missed, something that I should be paying attention to, let us know in the comments. Come let us know because, again, you know your teams way better than we do. We're just here to kind of wrap it all up in a pretty little bow and package it for everyone out there in the world. Now, let's move it right along. Let's go to Germany. Let's go to the Bundesliga. Oh, yes. And we're here in the Austin, Texas area. And if you didn't hear, at Central Market, it's our fancy grocery store, like a fancy H-E-B. There is a German fest going on for this. I think it's 2 weeks, something like that. So I want to go check it out. And I hear that music, it reminded me like I need to go to the grocery store this weekend. If you're not from here, maybe you don't understand, but Central Market's a cool place. And the same thing, we're going to talk about all the matches, and then we're going to break it down to the top matches and highlights for the weekend if you can't watch them all. And it kicks off on Friday. That's Leverkusen versus Eintracht Frankfurt. And to be honest, this one probably was scheduled with a lot more hype involved, but all of the turmoil that's happened with Leverkusen probably changed this up. So let's jump into it. Frankfurt have been one of the best teams in the Bundesliga to start the season, while Leverkusen have been the exact opposite. Leverkusen brings in the former Danish international team manager Kasper Hjulmand, is how I'll pronounce that. But it'll take some time for him to get going with this new squad. Eintracht Frankfurt will be looking to continue their hot start, and getting Leverkusen at this point is a bonus in their book, because if they hit their stride later on, but for this first matchup, it's a great time. And Eintracht Frankfurt have just been awesome this year. I did not know that they would be playing like that. And we're right around the corner from our first match day in Europe. Okay, moving it right along. Saturday, we have Union Berlin versus Hoffenheim. Both teams are looking to bounce back after being dominated in match day 2. I honestly don't know who to give the nod to here, but we always love us a match at Union Berlin. That is on the bucket list. Heidenheim versus Dortmund. Heidenheim, look like they'll be the worst team in the Bundesliga this season. And Dortmund just got a 3-0 win over Union Berlin, and we just talked about. This one could get ugly, folks, and quick. Mainz versus Leipzig. Mainz have lost all momentum they had from last season after 2 disappointing results to start the season, but Leipzig, they have a lot of question marks of their own, so it's not like it's only on one side. We knew they would be sellers this offseason, but they've had a ton of change. With European competition starting up soon, Mainz need to get themselves into some sort of groove. Leipzig are going to start to gel more and more as the season progresses because, again, they don't have those European matches, so they'll just have one match a week and be able to focus on that. So I think if Mainz are going to be real this season in the league again, this needs to be a game that they at least get a point from, but I'm hoping they can get 3. And when I say that, I'm not a Leipzig hater. I like Mainz, and I might be going to a match in Mainz, so want to see them win. We have Freiburg versus Stuttgart. Freiburg find themselves at the bottom of the Bundesliga table after 2 horrible results to start the season against Köln and Augsburg. You'd expect a team that finished 5th last season to bounce back sooner rather than later, but Stuttgart won't be a team to lay down for them. And man, of course, we have a little bit of partialness to Stuttgart because they did come and play at our stadium Q2. So, going for my boys, but I also am going to Freiburg this year. So I was hoping that they'd be a little bit better, but maybe when they're not as good, the tickets will be more available, cheaper. I don't know. We'll see. Wolfsburg versus Köln. This is probably the match I'm most interested in seeing this weekend. There's no denying that Wolfsburg looked bad against Mainz last time out, but Simonis is still finding his way in the Bundesliga, and there's a lot of change. There's a lot of things that go into this. Cologne, on the other hand, have looked so good, and against 2 good Bundesliga teams in Mainz and Freiburg. We just talked about both of them. Both teams underachieving this year, yes, but mainly that's because Cologne is actually looking really good. I'm excited to see this one play out. The last time that we saw Cologne, they were just awesome, banging in goals left and right, and not just like little ticky-tacky stuff, which maybe you like that stuff, but they were some awesome goals. And they're a fun team to watch right now. Bayern versus Hamburg wraps up our Saturday. Hamburg had a miserable outing in the derby against St. Pauli, and now they get the Giants of Germany in Bayern Munich. Not going to try to break this down too much because it's in Munich, so Bayern should run riot, as they say. And no disrespect to Hamburg. I just think that it's a little bit too much this early in the season. On Sunday, St. Pauli versus Augsburg. Augsburg beat Freiburg and then took the fight to Bayern in a narrow loss. And up next is St. Pauli, who have looked really good this season. St. Pauli at home are going to bring it. So Augsburg, they just got to be ready for this. It's going to be a fun one too. Maybe the people's match. I don't know. We'll find out. Gladbach versus Werder Bremen is our last match of Sunday. On Sunday, Werder Bremen will look to continue the momentum from their comeback against Leverkusen last time out. And Gladbach are the perfect team to try and get their first win in against, as Gladbach have yet to score a single goal this season. Didn't expect that from this one, but Bremen should be able to put a couple past them and get all 3 points. At least that's what I'm saying. And like I mentioned, if you're not able to watch all the games, don't worry because we got them all wrapped up with a pretty little bow. Here are your top matches and headlines for the Bundesliga Match Day 3. Their first one, number one, Mainz versus Leipzig. This feels like a big statement game for both sides who've started slow this season. In the past, Leipzig would be big favorites here, but with all the changes on both sides, this is truly a toss-up. Number two, Freiburg versus Stuttgart. Freiburg have disappointed after ending last season on a high note, and it's not too different for Stuttgart. The difference is Freiburg have started with 2 losses and feel like a wounded animal coming into this match. Number three, Wolfsburg versus Cologne. Cologne are the surprise team of the first 2 match days, and y'all know how high I am on Wolfsburg this year. But Wolfsburg can't play Cologne how they played Mainz because Cologne are flying at the moment. This one's going to be fun. New look Leverkusen is number 4, and Leverkusen have looked terrible to start the season, and they sacked Ten Hag after just 2 matches. It'll probably get worse before it gets better, of course, and I don't expect them to put up much of a fight against this Frankfurt side who has been awesome, but the Kasper Hjulmand era starts this weekend, and those are your top headlines and matches for Bundesliga Match Day 3. There's a lot going on, a lot to digest there. And, of course, we talked about all the matches. We talked about the top ones to look for. Let us know what you think. If you're a big Bundesliga watcher, if I missed something, tell me. If there's a storyline or a headline that I should be paying more attention to that I just maybe missed. There's a lot of teams out there in Europe that we cover. Let us know. You know your team better than I do. And that wraps up the Bundesliga. Let's move right along to Spain. Let's go to La Liga. Yes, the smooth sounds. It always reminds me of like slowly pouring a red wine. You know what I mean? It's also weird without a co-host. I'm just like talking to the camera and expecting to be talking to someone. This is weird. It's okay. He'll be back soon. I miss him. He's out there having the time of his life, going to like arcades and like, doing cool stuff in Japan, whatever they do. I think he's eating a lot. I know that. I saw a picture of him. He had a lot of stuff. He also went on a bar crawl with all these random people, and he's hanging out in Kyoto. I'm not jealous at all, as you can tell. Just over here raising a little baby human and enjoying that. That's what I'm doing while he's over there in Japan. Okay, let's jump into it. Again, we're going to talk about all the matches. We're going to break them down, and we'll give you the top matches and headlines to watch for in case you can't watch them all. So this is La Liga Match Day 4. It kicks off on Friday. Sevilla versus Elche. The undefeated Elche go on the road to face Sevilla. Elche have been about as good as you could expect with draws against Betis and Atleti and a win over Levante. I mean, you can maybe expect some more wins in there, but could you really expect it for a newly promoted team? Sevilla, on the other hand, did get a win last time out, but it was against the only other team that looks worse than them this season in La Liga, and that is Girona. It's a must-win for Sevilla's side, trying to prove they still belong in La Liga, but Elche are cruising at the moment. I'm very interested to see how this one plays out, because if Sevilla don't get 3 points here, which I don't know how you could expect them to at this point, it could be trouble. On Saturday, Getafe versus Oviedo. Getafe got a reality check with a 3-0 loss to Valencia last time out, and they lost Uche in the summer window, which we're kind of on Uche watch. We knew that he might be heading out soon, and he does. He goes to Palace. Oviedo haven't been great, but they upset Real Sociedad last time out. Might be more of an indictment on La Real than Oviedo. I want to see how Getafe look going forward without Uche, and he was their danger man. Now, do they have any attack? They were already one of the worst teams as far as goals for. They're just really good as far as goals against. They're really good defensively. So we'll see how this one matches up. Oviedo, though, tough team. Real Sociedad versus Real Madrid. The battle to see who the Real is. All right, that was lame. That was a dad joke. Real Sociedad have started this season how they ended last season, and that's playing and looking terrible. Real Madrid haven't hit their stride yet under Xabi Alonso, but they come in off of 3 straight wins regardless, which just, even a bad Madrid team's going to beat the socks off of some of these La Liga teams. This one could get ugly, though. The way that Real Sociedad have looked, nothing tells me that they're going to put up a fight here. I think Real Madrid win big. I've said that before, and it didn't come to fruition. So, we'll see. Athletic Club versus Alaves. Athletic Club have started off the season on fire, and it's bad news for Alaves because although they've been decent, Athletic Club look like they'll be too much to handle. They're on another planet, and Alaves, they're not going to be able to cope. I think even if Nico Williams is hurt, which he went down in their recent match, international in Spain's international match for the weekend. I don't know how long he's going to be injured, but it seems like he'll be out for at least this match. And maybe he's missing their match. I think it's against Arsenal in the Champions League too, which just that's not good. But for this match, though, against Alaves, they should have the firepower to get through it. Atletico Madrid versus Villarreal is your next match for Saturday, and it's the headliner. It's the final one on Saturday night. Well, for them, Saturday afternoon for us. A stoppage time equalizer for Celta is the only thing separating the Yellow Submarines from a perfect 3-0 start to the season. Atleti are already in trouble as they failed to win in the first 3 match days. And in this one, not only do they need to not lose, but they need to go for the win and not just, just get a win. 3 points is what they need. If Atleti don't get 3 points here, though, there will start to be questions about Simeone's job. And maybe that seems harsh, and maybe you're like, you're dumb. That would never happen. But I'm just telling you, this team put a lot of money into that squad. Results are expected. And Simeone, yes, he's a legend, and he shouldn't be thought of, in a bad light because of 3 results, but 3 results in a row against teams that he should be beating. The reality is Villarreal are a really, really good team right now, and taking anything from this game won't be an easy task. This one is going to be really, really fun. On Sunday, Celta Vigo versus Girona. For as good as I feel about Celta this season, they still haven't won, and they've already played 4 matches in La Liga because I think they've been Betis. They played their Matchday 6 match on a Wednesday a couple weeks ago. In either way, they haven't won a single match, and they've played 4. The good thing for them is that they get Girona this weekend, and Girona look like the team that might not win a single match this season. They've looked terrible, and they look like they're going to be the first team relegated in La Liga. Levante versus Betis. Levante are similar to Girona in the fact that they have lost 3 straight to start this campaign, but unlike Girona, Levante have shown some fight. It's too bad that they get Betis, who just got Anthony back, and good luck because he changes that whole team. Osasuna versus Rayo. Rayo have had to play Barca and Athletic Club in 2 of the first 3 match days, so it's understandable that they don't have a lot of points right now because would you really expect that? But Osasuna are just one of those tough mid-table La Liga teams that will put up a fight. If Rayo can get it done, though, on the road, no less, I think I'll start to believe a little bit more that this Rayo side is real. We saw them kind of pick it up towards the tail end of last season. They end up getting into Europe, which is starting soon, by the way. Get excited. But, if can they do it twice in a row? They almost got relegated the season prior. Are they the real? Is this the real Rayo? We will find out. Barcelona versus Valencia. I just bit my tongue. How weird is that? I was trying to put the Barcelona and I just bit myself. That's weird. Hold on. Bit the shit out of it too. All right. Let's do this again. Barcelona versus Valencia. Valencia haven't got off to the start that we'd all hoped, but in their last match, they put 3 past a very good Getafe defense. Barca are still Barca, but if they have been vulnerable anywhere, it's been defensively. I don't know if Valencia will come out and play this match, toe-to-toe, as you would say, particularly because they're playing away from the Mestalla. Maybe at the Mestalla, they would be a little bit more brave. Away from it, not so much. We'll find out. Last I heard, though, Barca still don't have a stadium to host this match. I think they're going to do it at the Johan Cruyff Arena, which doesn't have VAR, and it's supposed to have 8,000 seats, but it's 6,000, something like that. I don't know if they end up having it there, but either way, their main stadium is not ready yet, and we can't have matches at high school stadiums essentially. No VAR for a La Liga match would be crazy. I don't know how they would approve that, but if at this point it might be changed, maybe they're having it somewhere else. And I think the Johan Cruyff is what it was called, but we'll find out. Either way, we should be in for a fun one here. We'll just hope that Valencia don't shell up and try to do what Rayo did. We hope they do try to do what Rayo did and bring the match to Barcelona because it could be fun, especially with all the attacking talent that Valencia have. And the final match for your match day 4 in La Liga is on Monday. It's Espanyol versus Mallorca. We got a sneaky good one here Monday night because looking at the table, you would think not so much because Mallorca have lost twice and drawn once to start the season, leaving them in 18th in the table. So I was saying, how is this a good match? But they played Barca, Real Madrid, and Celta Vigo to start the year. And I bet they're looking forward to not playing teams that are on the top echelon for a bit, except that Espanyol have started with 2 wins and a draw and have all the momentum in the world on their side right now. We'll learn a lot about both of these teams on Monday night. Who's who's the real player here? Because, yeah, Espanyol, we're not expecting them to stay there, but if they can get a win over Mallorca, I mean, even a draw would be good for them. But if they get a win, yeah, we might start looking at them in a different light. And if you can't watch all these matches, here's your top matches and headlines for La Liga match day 4. Number 1, Real Sociedad versus Real Madrid. I'll start by saying I fully expect Madrid to win here, but Real Sociedad have to do everything not to lose this match. They've started so poorly, just like they ended last season, and there will be eyebrows raised if they go 4 matches without a win. Number 2, Atletico Madrid versus Villarreal. If Atleti don't win this match, it continues their terrible start to the season. But if they lose this match, it's panic time. I'm talking DEFCON 1. Villarreal look like they're going to be one of the better teams in La Liga this season, so it's going to be a tough task for Atleti. Number 3, Barcelona versus Valencia. After Barcelona's lackluster draw with Rayo in matchday 3, Hansi Flick called his players out and said they need to lose the ego, and they'll have a chance to prove that they can put that result past them against a good Valencia side who are starting to gel. Watch out. Number 4, Elche could make a statement. When Elche traveled to the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan to take on Sevilla, they won't feel like the underdogs they might have been in years past. This is a Sevilla side circling the drain, and if Elche can get a win here, watch out. They could be scary. Those are your top headlines and matches for La Liga match day 4. Good, solid lineup for this weekend. I'm really excited for a lot of these matches, and mainly it's because we have only a small sample size right now. So, yeah, as we get in and we get 15, 20 matches in, you start to know teams a bit more. And, yes, there is the winter window, and that changes things. But at least I looked at the season in like quarters. And so in the first quarter, you get your points. Second, right, it kind of goes down the line. But we're starting to get to the point now where 4 data points, that's pretty good for these teams. We can start to make some assumptions going into the second quarter before we have our winter break where, of course, things change up. It's weird talking about the winter break whenever the summer one winter window before the summer window, because it just ended a couple weeks ago. But, man, we're already basically halfway through September. So, we're starting to get there. Fall goes really quick, it feels like. Okay. Let's move it right along. Look at us, 26 minutes in. We're killing it today. Maybe I'm going too fast. Doesn't feel like that, though. We just need our boy Hype Man Vic back. He's out there having fun, whatever. Get back here, bro. We got work to do. So let's go right along to England. Let's go to the Premier League. Yes. We have a lot to talk about here. And of course, we're going to break down all the games. It's kind of a weird schedule for this match day 4 in the Prem too, because we have a Saturday slate that and this is based off of our online. I was taking a look at it, but it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games on Saturday and only 2 on Sunday. You know what? Before I jump into it, I'm going to check it because that just seems weird. I don't know if I ever seen that before. I feel like they have a little bit more of a stagger. Let's see. No, it definitely is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whatever they want to do it. That just it makes it harder because there's no way you can watch all these matches unless you have like a red zone type of thing, and they do have that. I think it's called Goal Zone, but it's not the same thing, right? Because you can't structure it like you can structure American football whenever they get into the red zone, the 20-yard line. Like, you don't know. Maybe there's a perfect pass in a game. They can show you the highlight after it happens, but even that split second, and I don't know if this is for everybody. Maybe this is just me. But even if I watch a goal and it happened already, if that makes sense, like there's I think it's Goal Arena for Bundesliga where they're like, oh, something happened in Mainz versus Leipzig, and they cut over there. It's like I'm watching a highlight that just happened. It's not like I didn't get to watch it live. That's one of the underrated things about Red Zone is that we don't know what happened. They just kind of like switch between the games, and maybe it happens, and maybe it's something you don't know what to expect. Anyway, let's figure that out because that's why you can't have 8 matches all at once. All right, I'm just talking to a void now. Whatever. Let's jump into it. The Premier League match day 4, of course, kicks off on Saturday. A big old Saturday for us, helping of Premier League matches on Saturday. It's looked like breakfast all the way through lunch too. I'm gonna get a drink of water. Let's do it. Okay, Arsenal versus Forest. Regardless of all the shiny new toys Forest have brought in, Arsenal will be tough to beat, but it is not the main storyline here. There's been some turmoil at Forest between Nuno and the execs, and now he is gone. He's sacked. I don't expect Ange to be on the touchline against Arsenal, but can Forest bounce back from losing 3-0 to West Ham, or will they suffer another heavy defeat? It feels like, there could be some issues. Bournemouth versus Brighton. Bournemouth have been one of the stories of the first 3 matches in the Prem, as they look really good with Semenyo leading the line. Brighton had struggled a bit, but a win over City last time out instantly changes the vibes around this Brighton team. Who keeps the good vibes going is kind of the main question here. I feel like these teams are very similar. So, let's find out. Newcastle versus Wolves. Oh, Newcastle love to see a team like Wolves coming into St. James's Park. The Toon are without a win in their first 3 match days, which I'm sure no one expected. And they'll look to pile on the misery that has been Wolves in this 25-26 campaign. Everton versus Aston Villa. Everton have started great behind new boys Kieran Dewsbury Hole, most British name ever, and Jack Grealish. It's hard to see them faltering against Villa, especially since Villa come in off back-to-back losses to Brentford and Palace. But they closed out the summer transfer window strong, and we'll hope that that gives them a boost to get over this hump that is Everton. But the Toffees on the road, that is a tough matchup, especially with them just kind of hitting they're starting to gel, they're starting to play well. Palace versus Sunderland. I'm very interested to see who comes out on top of this, because Sunderland have had a strong start to the season, but Palace, they're a hard day out for anyone and anywhere, but especially at Selhurst Park, where this match is taking place. I do expect Palace to come away with 3 points here. Fulham versus Leeds. Fulham are looking like the team that lost 10 of their final 18 matches last season, and they need to get a result against an okay Leeds side. Leeds, away from Ellen Road, shouldn't be much of a fight for an established Premier League side, but we'll see, because Fulham, you got some work to do, buds. West Ham versus Spurs. West Ham's 3-0 demolition of Forest last time out was completely against the run of form for this team, as was Spurs' 1-0 loss to Bournemouth, because it was only a 1-0 loss, of course, but the Cherries could have easily scored 4 or 5 against Spurs. It was a bad day out for them, for Thomas Frank's men. In the first 2 match days, though, this was Spurs easily. I would say that they could have easily gotten this one, but a London derby on the road, it might be a tough out for Spurs. I can see a draw here. I'm not saying I want to see that draw, but just the way things ended, it just didn't feel right. Xavi Simons, maybe he's up to speed and we can see a little bit more creativity. I don't know. Well, this isn't a Spurs pod, though. I'm excited for this match. Brentford versus Chelsea. Brentford are looking like the team that most people had struggling to stay in the Prem, and now they go and they get Chelsea. Chelsea should be without Delap and Palmer, but that won't really matter much in this one. Chelsea should be able to win, and win big here. And our 2 matches on Sunday, just 2. That first one is Burnley versus Liverpool. I'm not sure why this is an island game for the champs. It's poor Burnley. Why would you do that to them? The biggest question is, will we get to see Ekitike, Wirtz, and Isak on the pitch all at the same time? I think they're trying to be like the Galacticos they used to call everyone over there at Real Madrid, because this is a stacked lineup of some of the best talent from Europe. It's just crazy to see. And why Burnley? Why this match on there? Maybe it's some kind of geolocation type of thing, some kind of derby I don't know about. I don't know, but it just seems weird to have it in an island. City versus United. And this is bad timings for both of these teams to be playing this Manchester derby. City come in limping after back-to-back defeats to Spurs and Brighton, while United just about saved Amarin's job with a stoppage time penalty winner from Fernandes against Burnley. Neither side can really afford to lose this match, not because of the table implications, nothing like that. We got plenty of matches left. They can figure it out. But it's more so because of the publicity and the scrutiny and all of the headlines that are coming from this match, especially if it's a heavy defeat for either way. These games are always pretty competitive, but I do see City getting back on track with a win. I just don't think this United side is very good, and Šeško hasn't even really gotten going yet. And I personally, I felt like he's always been a little overrated. He's fun to watch for sure. Big dude. He hits the crap out of the ball. But maybe he's not the best for them. We'll find out. And if they could beat City, then they got a little fight in them. But again, we have a lot of matches going on at the same time on Saturday. So if you can't watch all of the matches this weekend, don't worry. We got it all wrapped up in the top matches and headlines for the Premier League. Matchday 4, number 1 is the Manchester Derby. You wouldn't think that United have more points than City this season, but they do. Both teams are desperate for a win. The rivalry, the circumstance, the pressure, it's all on the line for both clubs this Sunday. Number 2, Bournemouth versus Brighton. These clubs always feel like they're on a similar path with not much separating them, but the Cherries have started hot. With a win over Brighton, they'll start to pull away from that mid-table dogfight and start to aim higher. Number 3, Everton versus Aston Villa. Everton are hitting their stride. Villa they started terribly, but they bring in Sancho, they bring in Elliott, they bring in Lindelof to close in the summer window, and it's go time. I'm excited to see if Everton can continue this great run of form or if Villa's signings turn things around quick. Number 4, Ange is back in the Prem. Ange. This week, news broke that Nuno Espirito Santo was sacked, and hours later, they appoint the former Spurs boss, Ange Postecoglou. Forest had an active summer window, and Nuno came out and let it be known that him and the Forest leadership were not gelling. Now he's gone. Ange won't be on the touchline this weekend, but what a storyline for the Tricky Trees. Those are your top headlines and matches for the Premier League Match Day 4, and there is a lot to dig into and a lot to see, but we all just need to watch it play out because nobody knows what the heck's going to happen, and that is the fun of the Premier League every match day. There's so many things to talk about. We talked about all the matches already, but the ones that, you let us know which ones you're most excited to see, but there's so much that's going on, and of course with 8 matches all going on at once, I don't know if they're going on. I think there's 7 at once. Maybe Arsenal and Forest is the 6:30 match, I think. But either way, there's a lot going on. And I want to see some results here because we have the top 5 matches and headlines. You saw them already, or the top matches and headlines. But I didn't really get a chance to talk about a Palace team who, at their deadline, Oliver Glasner, their manager, he said he was about to leave if they ended up selling Gay, because he was like, you're not taking all my best players away from me and expecting me to do something good here. He basically threatened to walk out if they sold him to Liverpool or Real Madrid, anybody. And they're both staying, but I don't know how good that is. Like maybe relationships are strained over there. It just seems kind of crazy, but they're playing Sunderland. I expect them to win. It's just kind of weird for a team like Palace that have been just that steady mid-table team who's just always there. There's a lot of drama on the back end of that team. And of course, the whole Newcastle drama, they bring in players that maybe weren't their top priorities. They probably, I know they would have preferred to have Isak on that touchline for them or on the pitch for them. But Voltemade coming in from Stuttgart, which is an insane thing. He comes over on a free 1 season ago from, I think it was Werder Bremen, something like that, over to Stuttgart. A free transfer because he's just looking for a contract. He's trying to play for a team. Stuttgart signs him, and 1 year later he gets signed for 90 mil. That's insane. That's a straight profit for Stuttgart. And of course, we like them over here. So, but either way, him on Newcastle should be fun. I don't know if he's Premier League tested and ready. Well, I know he's not because he hasn't played yet. But I'm just saying, I don't know if he's ready to just jump in and be a plug and play. But Voltemade is a lot of fun to watch. I named him as one of my top people in the Bundesliga to check out, and now he's over here in the Prem, so we get to watch him in a little bit more. I don't want to say a better light because, that's kind of disrespectful to Bundesliga. There's just more eyes on the Prem. We all know it. It's all in the numbers. But yes, Voltemade is fun to watch. I'm excited to see his first game. He should be able to start right away. He's just a big dude that dances around the pitch like a ballerina. He can bang in goals from all over. It's going to be fun. He's the closest thing to an Isak replacement as you can get because size-wise, speed, be able to move the same way. Obviously, he's not as proven or as good at this point. He could be, but 90 mils, that's a crazy amount. Okay, that is it for this podcast. Let's get out of here. We have a lot to talk about after this match day because we'll have the recap. We'll have the European reach around, as we call it, and we'll go through all of the results and all of the headlines and things that happened from this weekend. And of course, right around the corner, I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday through Thursday is all of the European competition starting off. And man, I am excited. We have some bangers. So we'll have not only the recap, the European reach around, we'll also have a look ahead as to what's coming on our first slate of European matches. It's a lot of helpings of soccer this year, a lot of helpings of soccer in the fall. This is the best time. NFL's back. All the leagues are back. Baseball is about to start, the playoffs. It's just a great time. And we live in Texas, so it's always hot up here. And now it's starting to feel a little bit more chilly. Oh, you got to love it. Okay, let's get out of here. Thank you for coming and checking us out. Like, subscribe, everything that Vic says, if you know how to do it, click down below. Let us know. Peace.